Do you have any more hot takes on J.K. Rowling?
I don't think we should start the show with our hot takes on Joe Rowling, should we?
I don't
I
think
don't
so
think that's
either.
a good.
Nah.
I don't. I don't think we have any hot. I think we just have regular takes.
Well, actually, no. I think there is actually a good transition from this to the topic for today, and that is before J.K. started like slipping in her transphobia. She was notorious for going back and adding things after all the books were over. Because like that was where the infamous "oh yeah, Dumbledore's gay" thing came from, and people were like, "Whoa, that wasn't in the books, was it?" And yeah,
Yeah.
so she kept adding stuff in after the fact, much like how a lot of comics in between Marvel and DC right now are about let's go back to these old successful storylines and revisit them.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you linked it. I don't know if I would call that a successful link.
An attempt was made.
Yes. We'll allow it. I think we'll let
Okay.
it. We'll let it.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
for the permission.
Anytime. That's what I'm. That's why I'm the content officer.
Content director.
Well, okay, we'll go with that.
Hey, welcome to the Smart Avengers. My name is Corey, and with me is Dylan and John. How's it going, guys?
Good.
All good.
I don't
All
know.
good. 100 good.
I don't know how much of that intro is going to be in there, but today we're going to be talking about a trend right now in the comic book world where they just can't seem to leave the past alone. And I don't know how much of that is just like, oh, well, maybe we can get like a sales bump, or maybe there's these untold stories we haven't gotten around to actually telling. But we're gonna zero in on one particular group because, like I said, this is between Marvel and DC. On the DC side of things, Jeff Loeb, coincidentally enough, has been Hush 2 with Jim Lee. That's kind of messed up the order that Batman's coming out right now. And then also, I think it's called The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, where it's a sequel to the last two Long Halloween miniseries. And then
That's a
over.
long Halloween if it's lasting like three different miniseries. Like, it lasts a day. You know what I
It's
mean?
been then Halloween lasted 3 years. Holy shit!
Fuck, it's too much. It's too much.
All the kids have no teeth because the cavities have gotten so bad.
It's too many Halloween.
Mm-hmm. People are broke because they keep buying candy.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
Well,
Wow, the chocolate corporations are having a great time.
they're having the best time.
If they
Just
could make it Halloween, Christmas, and Easter like all year round, oh, it's just big chocolate winning. And all
Does that
those
mean you have
poor
to dress up in different costumes every day?
every single day.
or you wear the same one every single day without washing it because there's just not enough time to wash it because it's Halloween every day.
Hmm.
Yikes.
I have to think about that for a long time.
Okay.
It's a
Well,
lot. It's not as foolproof as we make it seem. There's a lot of things going on with that.
there's some errors. Um,
A lot of issues.
So Marvel's been doing this a lot recently as well. Previously, they brought back Peter David before his death to do new miniseries, picking up on runs that he had worked on previously. He had a miniseries for Black Symbiote Spider-Man. He had a series for the Genis Vale Captain Marvel. He had a miniseries for Joe Fixit for the Incredible Hulk. And I don't want to say anything that jinxes anyone in particular, but it does seem weird that Jeff Loeb is doing the same thing and like Peter David's ended with his death. I'm not saying Jeff Loeb's
But
gonna
he
die, but it is weird.
seems a little bit like you're going to kill him, and this is your way of like
That's John's gimmick,
telling
not
everybody.
mine.
It's
Oh,
my
John's the
kid,
criminal.
not me.
It,
yeah, that's right.
it's a family affair for John.
And nobody will know who kills him.
I think we need more data before we can jump to this conclusion.
No,
Like,
I
if
mean, yeah, that's
another classic writer
I feel like
dies,
we've been
then
lying.
okay, maybe.
Wait, the data of you killing people?
No, like Corey's
Yeah,
theory about, Jeff Loeb being
um,
doomed.
yeah.
I mean, it is a coincidence.
That's set in stone. We know that John is definitely 100% a killer. No arguments there. But the other thing, yeah, we might need to get some more information with that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's definitely a coincidence. We'll leave it at a coincidence. But anyway, Jeff Loeb is back with the first part of this topic, and that is the return of the Age of Apocalypse. So Marvel announced back in May that the Age of Apocalypse, an event that occurred in the 90s, would be celebrating its anniversary by having a new 6-issue miniseries called X-Men of Apocalypse Alpha. Written by Jeff Loeb with art by Simone Di Maio, I believe is the pronunciation. That goes on sale September 3rd. And the premise of it is simple. 30 years ago, the X-Men of Apocalypse took the comics world by storm, and Jeff Loeb was lucky enough to be part of it. They were new characters, new designs, heroes who were villains, and villains who were heroes. Now on the 30th anniversary, an all-new, all-different story with spectacular art brings us to this uncanny team that shouldn't even exist, and they're coming to the mainstream universe. Join Gambit, Sabretooth, and Wildchild, Blink, Forge, and Morph, and more, as they try to save one universe without dooming the other. So, that's the premise. As it stated, it's the 30th anniversary of Age of Apocalypse. The Age of Apocalypse universe is collapsing, I believe, is the premise. And these characters have made the jump over into the main continuity to try to save their world. First and foremost, though, does anyone want to talk to Age of Apocalypse, fond memories of it, things you liked, things you disliked?
Is this the 4th time they went back to the Age of Apocalypse universe? I feel like this is not like the first time. This has happened.
Yeah.
This is
So
like
we had
4th.
like the original one came out in 95. Which
Yeah,
I thought it was like a year-long event, but apparently it was only like 4 months.
It felt long.
Yeah, because they basically restarted like all the X-Men book is like Age of Apocalypse specific books. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of content there. But then they did bring it back in, I think, 2005, where they did like a sort of Tales from the Age of Apocalypse type series, where they were just, going back, revisiting some of the characters, fleshing out stories and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
And then it got brought back in Uncanny X-Force as well, during the Rick Remender run.
Good run.
I think it was like 2011, 2012, something like that, where I think that was during like the Dark Angel storyline where he was
the egg.
sort of, yeah, the seed, the life seed, and the death seed.
Yes, egg.
I remember it being spherical.
Yeah. And that one worked out pretty well. That felt like, it had a point to it, and it wasn't just like pointless nostalgia. But then because that was successful, they did do like another Age of Apocalypse run, I think the year after, which was not as good and kind of didn't have any kind of impact in the comic world whatsoever.
Well,
I think that's been it since then.
And then you have to add into the fact that Beast from Age of Apocalypse and Sugar Man both have been in the main Marvel continuity since like 1995. So so even then, it's weird to celebrate the Age of Apocalypse turning 30 when it pops up every now and then, but
Nate Gray,
Nate Gray had a long series. And then Nate Gray was around, and Nate Gray created a whole new universe for a period of time. How many years ago? Right before Krakoa.
Yeah.
When he was Jesus.
Wasn't he? Wow. Legally, he was distinct from Jesus.
Yeah, he had the tattoo still.
He was Jesus.
Yeah, he was Jesus. Stabbed John Cena in the bar. Was that Jesus?
That was Jesus. Good callback. So yeah, like I said, we are celebrating the return of the Age of Apocalypse with this new miniseries. It's funny that the original ran for 4 months because they already announced this is a 6-issue miniseries, so it's gonna last 2 months longer than the thing it's celebrating.
Oh, damn.
And also, Apocalypse is dead in the Age of Apocalypse. That was like how it ended.
Yes.
Apocalypse was defeated.
Yeah.
So it's still the
Right.
Age of Apocalypse, despite the fact that Apocalypse ain't there no more.
Well, that's the annoying thing about it, is that the easiest way to talk about it was to call it the Age of Apocalypse universe, so people knew what it was talking about. When in reality, the most of the time the stories existed, Apocalypse wasn't there because he died in the 1995 run. You know, they still had to be like, oh, if they called it like Earth 4800, people were like, which one is that again? If you say Age of Apocalypse one, they're like, oh yeah, cool, I got it. It's the one where there was an Age of Apocalypse.
So, I mean, what is there to say about this storyline? The details are a little sparse. They're promising that the Age of Apocalypse versions of the characters will be interacting with the regular universe's characters, which Morph isn't in the main continuity, if I'm not mistaken. And Sabretooth is dead. And Wild Child is in prison.
Boy, spoilers about Wild Child here. Come on now. Please show some respect.
I think, well, hold on. I'll say this. I think Sabretooth's dead because they just had a miniseries for him, and it was like in the past. So I don't know why you would make a miniseries in the past if he's not if he's alive. So this is just a theory.
I thought they were sort of teasing that he's the big bad in the current Wolverine series, and there might be some sort of familial connection between them.
So are you talking about Wolverine's mom showing up?
Yeah.
All right, they did reveal who that was. I'm not sure if you want to know that or not, though.
Sabretooth.
I'll avoid the spoilers on that one.
Okay. Hey, runt. It's me, your mama.
I'm your father. Don't ask how that happened.
It worked for Mystique. It'll work for me.
Yeah. I got both. Don't worry about it. It's not important.
Don't worry about it. All right. Well, we'll like I said, they're promising these characters are going to interact. We know where Gambit is. We don't really know where. Well, we kind of know where Forge is because Forge had his own X-Force book that got canceled after like 9-10 issues.
He's with Wild Child.
Yeah. So yeah, Wild Child is in the Grey Malkin prison and being used as basically like a prisoner release criminal thing. But yeah, Gambit is hanging out with a bunch of kids in New Orleans with his wife and Wolverine and the more traditional X-Men lineup.
When you say it like that, it sounds weird.
I mean, he's doing Gambit stuff, mentoring. That's what he does.
His wife are just hanging out with a bunch of kids in San Francisco. Like,
No, it's Louisiana. I apologize.
Oh, whatever. Maybe I made up San Francisco. I don't know.
No, they were in San Francisco for a while. It's understandable.
Cool. Louisiana, nothing risky ever happens in Louisiana, so that's fine. Don't worry.
In the bayou.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, like I said, that's the premise that we know of so far. Their world is dying. They're in the main continuity to do something to keep that from happening, and here we are. Is there any interest on your part to see this storyline, follow this storyline, see what happens, that kind of deal?
Not really.
No.
I mean, for me, I don't know if you guys feel the same way with this, but for me, it feels weird going back and exploring the universe of a big happening event. Let's, for example, look at the air, use the Age of Apocalypse. The whole point of the Age of Apocalypse was it was like an alternate universe because something happened, and then if that thing had happened, this would have been the world that came up. And they told the whole story, and then it ended. That was the end of it, right? And the way that they ended it, they brought the characters they liked, Nate Gray, Dark Beast, everybody's favorite character, the Sugar Man, back.
The Love Machine himself.
Don't even give me start drawing pictures again. They brought those characters back to the main universe, so they didn't have to go back to Age of Apocalypse because the story was wrapped up. It was
Yeah.
done. I think that it's weird to go back to a universe like that because then you're like, well, the story was already done. And it seems weird to go, oh, but there's more stories to be told. I'm like, not really, because that universe existed primarily for that one story.
Yeah.
You can't tell more stories now, but the reason people cared about the Age of Apocalypse universe is for the Age of Apocalypse story. And there are other universes too where that happens. There's other like storylines where they go back and revisit them, and you go, you don't need to do this. Like
Mm.
you could just make a new. I don't get why this has to be part of the same universe because what's the point?
Yeah.
You already did it. Yeah, for me, that's how I feel about this. And I see that they're putting a lot of effort into it, and they're putting a lot of time and comics and resources
6 issues.
into this. They want it to be, but it's like also like, there's so many crossovers. Other books are
no,
involved.
that's the other thing we're gonna talk about. That's not related to this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a different thing that's coincidentally happening around the same time.
That's what I thought we were talking about. That whole business.
Oh no, we'll get into like, that one shortly.
Okay, good. But like I just don't see the value in going, well, let's see what happened 20 years later in this universe, because I'm like, we already saw like the main part. You know what I mean? That's how I feel anyway.
So I've been reading Batman, and Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee came on to do Hush 2, which was a follow-up to Hush, which was a storyline that Jeff Loeb wrote with Jim Lee on art. That's, they're following up on a new story featuring, Tommy Elliott and his desire to ruin Bruce Wayne's life by sabotaging it at all costs. And I have to be honest with you, the book's been delayed so that when Hush 2 ends, the new Batman run that Matt Fraction will be writing is already a month in. So, like, it's already thrown the schedule out of whack because it's, God bless Jim Lee. He's a busy guy. He does not have the time to be doing ongoing books.
No.
And so far, I'll be honest with you, the story hasn't really been anything to write home about. It's like Hush is putting Bruce Wayne in a position where he's having to choose his no-kill policy over the Bat family. Like, case in point, he pretty much killed Joker, and Bruce was forced to, like, resuscitate him, and now Red Hood's pissed at him, and Batgirl's pissed at him. Because it's like, okay, cool, someone killed Joker, and you brought him back. Why?
Is there a good answer to that question?
Not that I've seen so far, aside from just the whole, Batman doesn't kill.
Yeah, shit like that I don't like.
Yeah, Hush put him in a position where he had to choose, and he chose to save Joker. Regardless, John, do you have thoughts on, are you going to try to follow Age of Apocalypse Alpha? I know you're a big trade reader.
I don't know. I think it will depend on, one, like, if it's well received, and two, if it feels like the events will impact the main X-Men comics, and like, if it feels like not reading it means I'm missing out on something crucial. But we'll see. Like, it'll because I do trades, like you say, I'll have plenty of time to kind of gauge reaction and then see if it's important or not, or if I can just skip it and not go back to it.
So it's funny that you mentioned whether it's going to have an impact on the main continuity or not, because this is Age of Apocalypse Alpha comes out in September. In October, exactly October 1st, the Age of Revelation starts. That is a follow-up on the storyline Heir of Apocalypse, or the miniseries Heir of Apocalypse, which ended in Doug Ramsey being named Apocalypse's heir and having his body transformed into an Apocalypse-esque form. It starts on October 1st, and a whole slew of miniseries are going to launch, and we'll get into that. and then there's going to be another one shot that happens at the end of it to tie everything together. But I don't see Age of Apocalypse Alpha having a major impact on the main continuity while this is going on, because it basically, shit's gonna happen and everything's gonna change. If you'd like, I can read you the premise to this.
Okay.
Okay. This October, the world is reborn in the image of Doug Ramsey, the heir of Apocalypse in Age of Revelation. The event takes the Marvel Universe 10 years into the future, where the Revelation territories, a New Mutant utopia, threatens an Earth ravaged and transformed by the mysterious X virus. And that's basically the premise. We're jumping into the future 10 years, and a bunch of shit's changed, and these miniseries have all launched to explore the various aspects of it. It's all centered around Doug Ramsey. So, they did a issue of Jed McKay's X-Men that was all centered on Doug Ramsey, who grew his hair back out so he doesn't look as much like Apocalypse. And him and his wife and Warlock trying to figure out how he is going to follow Apocalypse's mission of improving the world for mutant kind. And I guess this is the lead up to what happens as a result of that decision. So, any thoughts on that initially before we start looking at the mini-series that are going to be launching that will fill out the world of the Age of Revelation?
I have zero thoughts.
Okay.
I mean, I would say, like, just finished, like, a pretty big storyline in the X-Men world where the mutants were living in, like, their own utopia, and then stuff happens, and they go to war with, like, the rest of the planet, basically. And here we are in a similar situation, even if it's, like, 10 years in the future. It just feels like, are we going back to that world already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've just done something like this. Why are we doing it again?
Right. It's 10 years in the future, but in real life, it's like 3 months later or whatever. Like, it's not that much longer since we've seen this.
So, these are the mini-series that will be coming out as part of this this series-wide crossover. Amazing X-Men. Amazing X-Men. X years later, on the run after a deadly clash with Revelation's chief assassin, the shattered X-Men desperately gamble everything on one last mission. With help from an unexpected ally, they venture into the haunted ruins of Grey Malkin. What they find, there may change everything if they survive. This will be written by Jed McKay, who is kind of the architect behind Age of Revelation and the current X-Men writer. This book seems to feature characters from the X-Men run. Cyclops is a main character. Glob Herman has a new look. That's he looks like a badass now. If you're ready for Glob Herman looking like a man.
I'm not. I want him to look like a glob.
So that's our first. Our second is Binary. This is Binary, and the universe burns with her. X years later, in the ashes of the old world, to survive, she is reborn, a cosmic force channeling the Phoenix itself. With the universe crumbling, Binary returns to save what's left, but power this great always comes with a price, and the end of everything might begin with her. This is written by Stephanie Phillips. So a lot of people so you're familiar with the Binary identity that Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers used for a while. It looks like it's a combination of that and the Phoenix at the same time.
Okay.
Next up, Laura Kinney Sabretooth. X years later, she's taken the name of once bitter enemy Sabretooth and fights beside Revelation himself. Why did Laura Kinney abandon her legacy? What secrets does she keep from the mutant world? Oh, this website is so bad, the ads keep generating and moving the screen. What secrets does she keep from the mutant world? When loyalty changes, blood means everything. And this is written by Erica Schultz. Next up,
that sounds kind of interesting.
yeah. Well, so the other two books sound like they're characters in against Revelation. This is a character who is with him.
Hmm.
Next up, Long Shots. X years later. All of these start with X years later. X years later, and Mojo's got a new game for Wonder Man, Hellcat, Bishop, Rhino, and Craven to play. There are no rules. One survivor wins. One survivor wins, the others die. Mojo promises you can vote for the winner with your dollars, but you probably can't. Mojo can't promise that any of this is true or that you can even vote, as all decisions will be made by Mojo and Mojo alone in his Mojo Dojo, its fame or fatality. And this is written by Jerry Duggan and Jonathan Hickman.
What? Jonathan Hickman's writing this?
With Jerry Duggan.
That's an interesting pair putting those two together. In that.
So this is an X-Men book without X-Men, because we have Wonder Man, Hellcat, Bishop, Rhino, and Craven the Hunter.
Rhino, what the fuck? I am okay with a Mojo story because I think in the context that it kind of makes sense. It sounds like they can make it make sense. I don't understand why they picked those 6 guys. I feel like when you read the story, it will not explain why those 6 guys were picked. But I'm okay with a Mojo story because when was the last time I had a good Mojo story?
Mojo was just the villain in NYX, I believe. That series got canceled at like issue 10.
I said a good Mojo story.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, next up, World of Revelation. X years later, what happened to the Fantastic Four, and what horrors plague the East Coast? How does the rest of the world survive the rise of Revelation? And far above on Araco, what does Apocalypse think of his heir's new empire? Discover the far-reaching impact of Age of Revelation across the Marvel Universe. This is to be written by Ryan North, Al Ewing, and Steve Fox. So this is going to be your sort of collection of mini stories, it sounds like. So all of those books are out on October 8th. October 1st is a one-shot that introduces Age of Revelation. October 8th, number ones for all those books come out. Next up, these are the books that are coming out on October 15th with new number ones. Unbreakable X-Men. X years later, and the Uncanny X-Men have been shattered by loss and tragedy and scattered to different locations around the world. At Haven House, only 3 wounded, grieving, and guarding the portal to the terrifying penumbra. Can they stop the thundering darkness that has lurked below the surface for centuries, screaming to break free? Or will they fail and watch a vengeful god bring an army of tormented souls to the surface, crying for mutant blood? This is written by Gail Simone. So this is a series that's a follow-up to what she's doing in Uncanny X-Men, and the main character is an older Gambit.
Sounds good to me.
Rogue Storm. X years later, with Earth's gods gone, only Aurora Monroe, the mutant god of storms, remains. She is a goddess driven mad by dark magic and grief. Now as Storm threatens to freeze the world into a new ice age, Rogue leads a team of killers and legends. Gateway, Iceman, Phantom X, Spiral, and Warpath. The sole mission of this uncanny X-Force, kill Storm. This is written by I believe it is Murwa Aodel, who I believe is the current writer to Storm.
Nailed it.
After this, we have Iron and Frost. X years later, after 3K's devastating terrorist attack cost Tony Stark and Emma Frost everything, the Heartless Queen returns to what remains of her past. Secrets hide in the ruins of New York. The Hellfire Club has a dangerous new leader. This is written by Cavan Scott. Sinisters 6. X years later, Mr. Sinisters assembled an elite strike force to take his rightful place on the throne of Revelation. What has Sinister offered Havoc, Black Cat, Domino, Omega Red, Phantom X, and Venom to convince them to take on impossible odds? Are Sinister's misfits throwing their lives away, or has Revelation underestimated how far his subjects will go when there's nothing left to lose? And this is written by David Marquez.
Isn't that kind of similar to the Mojo one, where you're like, what the fuck is up with the choices of people here?
Well, the Mojo people seem like they're trapped in Mojo world, like a traditional Mojo world thing, where it's kind of like Squid Games, I suppose. And this book is it sounds like a Suicide Squad take of like, here are these characters that are kind of expendable, and they're on a suicide mission.
Black Cat? What? Why?
Oh yeah, and she's mutated, so she looks like an actual cat right now. Also, I'm not sure if you realize this, but there are two Phantom X's. There's a male Phantom X that's in the Rogue Storm book, and there's a female Phantom X that's part of Sinister 6. So double Phantom X.
Why? Do I know? Should I?
Not at all confusing.
Yeah, should I ask? I don't think I should ask.
All right, so those are the books that are coming out on October 15th. These are the books that are coming out on October 22nd. Do I have... Yeah, okay, cool. Book of Revelation. X years later, after the assassination of one of his prized choristers, Revelation welcomes a new mutant to his capital city of Philadelphia. But the capital of the Revelation territories hides many dangers, not the least of which are her rival choristers, and Fabian Cortez will allow no one to challenge him for Revelation's favor. But this new mutant has a secret ally, the Ghost of Philadelphia. And this one's being written by Jed MacKay as well.
The Ghost of Philadelphia?
I have no idea.
I mean, that whole blurb sounded like nonsense to me.
Yeah, what the fuck?
The Last Wolverine. X years later, the people of Vancouver cheer a new hero, the wonderful Wolverine, aka the Wendigo, Logan's last student. But what happened to Logan? A secret from Wolverine's past will set the last Wolverine on a mission to uphold his mentor's legacy, unless a dire threat burns it all down first.
The wonderful Wolverine. That's got to be a first.
Yep. So if you've not been reading the Wolverine book, Wolverine encountered a Wendigo that seems to have a level of intelligence that was like a teenage boy that was given the curse, and Wolverine has kind of mentored him.
Boy, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. He just loves his teenagers.
He does. Omega Kids. X years later, Quentin Quire protects the dream of mutant supremacy and independence as head of the Revelation Territory spy network. But when a conspiracy threatens the mutant utopia, Quire and his psychic students will have to distinguish friend from foe. Has Quentin got what it takes to carry the dream forward, or will the next generation replace the former revolutionary? By the way, this one was written by Tony Fleeces. The Wolverine one is written by Saladin Ahmed.
I don't think any of those people are.
Oh, I think you would really like Saladin Ahmed. He's got very unique ideas. Do you remember when we did that episode on like weird powers, and I was telling you about Dial H, and there was the guy who was like a steamboat he was like a guy with steamboat arms?
Yeah.
That's Saladin Ahmed.
No. I don't know if I do remember this.
He does the Miles Morales book as well. That's pretty good.
Okay.
The Radioactive Spider-Man. X years later, the X-Virus decimated New York, but Spider-Man won't stop fighting. In a desperate gamble, Peter Parker doses himself with lethal radiation to hold the infection at bay. Survival comes at a cost. While this may not kill Peter Parker, it sure messes him up. The most dangerous mutated Spider-Man ever, and he's not alone. This is written by Joe Kelly. His mutation, by the way, is he's growing some extra arms again, but they're not like human arms. They're little clawed arms.
Okay.
All right. And we have the books on sale October 29th. The Expatriate X-Men. X years later, like the fallen and reassembled United States, the new team of Miss Marvel, Bronze, Melee, and Rift, they have seized control of the Mississippi River waters that divide mutant kind from the rest of humanity. Feared and powerful, their guerrilla tactics keep them in control until a high-stakes mission to extract a valuable asset threatens to tear them apart. Can they hold together when everything's on the line? So these are characters that are a mix of the NYX book and also the Exceptional X-Men book. This is written by Eve Ewing, who I believe is in some relation to Al Ewing. I don't know the specifics. I don't know
would
if it's
imagine so.
I don't know if it's a white stripe situation where people are going to say they're brother and sister, but they're actually like divorced or something.
Mm-hmm.
Cloak or Dagger. Dumbest name so far. X years later, I just Cloak or Dagger. X years later, and Tandy and Tyrone have tied the knot, but their bond comes with a terrible cost. Now they can no longer exist on the same plane at the same time. Reunited at last, the pair now face a love story warped by power and fate. And this is written by Justina Ireland. Undeadpool. X years later, and the virus ravaging the Revelation territories has finally made Wade Wilson into what he always wanted to be, a mutant. But not like us, and not like this. Deadpool's healing factor is on overdrive, his mind a passenger in a body that hungers and cannot be sated unless he devours the life force of mutants. His next targets are the New Blood, known as Fearless, Magni, Kid Man-Thing, and Fantastica. It's Deadpool like you've never seen him before. And this is written by Tim Seeley.
You were talking about expendable characters. I think Fantastica and Kid Man-Thing might be like tip top of the we just made this shit up so Deadpool can eat them kind of deal, right?
Baby Man-Thing.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Like not
Plus,
buying
it
that.
says Deadpool like you've never seen him before, but
We've seen
I mean,
Marvel
it sounds
zombies.
a bit like zombie Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen Marvel
It does
zombies.
sound a lot. Yeah.
Earth's mightiest and hated and feared, the X-Vengers. X years later, Earth still needs the Avengers, but what happens when those who are left have transformed into mutants? Danny Moonstar leads a new team of Avengers: Hawkeye, Vision, Water Widow, Shang-Chi, Variable Man, and Cannonball to protect the planet. But can these X-Vengers protect all of Earth, including the Revelation territories? And this is written by Jason Liu.
But Water Widow?
Water Widow. Yes, Black Widow has the X virus. If it doesn't kill you, it mutates you. So
Okay.
Natasha,
right.
it sounds like Natasha or potentially Yelena have gotten some Hydro Man powers.
It sounded like somebody got divorced.
Yeah.
Or the water died, I guess. Not divorced.
So that is all of the books coming out from Age of Revelation. These are all miniseries. I don't know how long they're going to run. I don't know if they're one-shots. I don't know if they're like 4 issues, 5 issues, 6 issues. But it's a lot of books. So if you want to read Age of Revelation and you want to get the whole story, it's going to cost you some money. Considering every week in October is going to be a new number 1 5 times at most.
Well, that raises the question of, do you want to read Age of Revelation?
There you go.
That's the trick. Not just do you want to spend £1 billion on all these comics. It's like, is it worth it? Is it worth like trying to like to connect all these threads together for this story?
So, John, did any of those miniseries appeal to you in any way? I know you seemed interested in Laura Kinney Sabretooth.
Yeah, that one was the one that kind of stuck out more than the rest. I guess like Sinister, what was it?
Sinister's Six. Which elicited a reaction out of Dylan.
Yeah. And I guess maybe the Rogue Storm one, just because, like, what the fuck happened to Storm to, make her break bad in the first place, and then, yeah. But, I mean, there's just too much. There's too many books.
Yeah,
There's too many stories, and it feels like it's just an overload of ideas and shit going on with.
I read all of those, and I can't remember more than 3 or 4 of them. So immediately while I was looking at these, the books that don't seem like they need to exist, I don't know what purpose they're going to serve. Iron and Frost, I don't think needs to be a thing. Cloak or Dagger doesn't need to be a thing. X-Vengers doesn't need to be a thing. There's already a book about the Omega Kids, doesn't seem terribly interesting. There's the anthology book that's like, oh, here's other things that are happening in this setting because of this massive change. That seems like it's fine. That might be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
the other book of Revelation that we talked about, where you said that sounds like a bunch of nonsense, I would agree. The only character names that stuck out were, of course, Revelation, which is Doug Ramsey, and Fabian Cortez. I don't know who the Ghost of Philadelphia is. And for whatever reason, they didn't name the female character that's new to the territory.
Yeah. Odd.
So, Dylan, was there anything... Oh, go ahead, John. My apologies.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, do we know if these books are going to be, like, replacing the regular,
Yes.
like, trio of X-Men books?
Yes, they will be. So all of the X books that are out there right now, they're either ending before Age of Revelation, or they're pausing. So like X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, Exceptional X-Men, those are all pausing. I think Magic, Psylocke are ending. I think Phoenix and Storm are both pausing. And I can't remember if there's any other X books right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, of the books that are still active, the majority of them are pausing, and then the ones that are focusing on like single characters, those seem to be ending. At least Psylocke and Magic.
Okay.
So it is reminiscent to what they did with Age of Apocalypse in that sense.
Definitely.
So Dylan, after hearing all of those, do you have any thoughts? Like, what stuck out to you?
Just like Liam, some of that sounded. Do you know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
my expectations are too high these days. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just have high standards. But maybe I'm impossible to please when it comes to comics. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there like I don't. Well, Peter Parker, the radioactive Spider-Man, he already is radioactive. You
Now he's
know,
even more
Mhm.
radioactive.
wow, now I gotta read it. He's got tiny arms, like you know, like you said. There's a lot of stuff there that you're like, we don't need this, and I wonder what the purpose of it is. Like, I always like the idea of fleshing out side characters and stuff like that. But what you're doing is fleshing out side characters in like a alternate universe kind of thing. It's just 10 years in the future, so it's gonna end up not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, none of the fleshing out of these characters has any purpose other than the main characters in the story. You know, I don't see what Cloak and or Dagger are gonna make different in this story, or like why Deadpool has to have a story other than being Deadpool.
Yeah.
You know, because he's not involved with the main story. He's just
No.
off doing his own fucking thing. So like, well, why? You know, I don't know. A lot of it, I didn't really think. A lot of it sounded like I gotta go check that out. You know,
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I agree. The only X book I'm reading right now is just the regular X-Men book. And I liked the issue they had of Doug with his wife and Warlock talking about what they were planning to do. Because partway through it, like, a hit squad tried to kill Doug. And, they were protected, but, like you said, it was interesting. And then the ending of it promised Doug is going to Alaska to talk to Cyclops. But I don't really know where they're going to go from that. There's some names that are missing. Like, they're not in the preview, they're not in the covers, and they're not mentioned in the blurbs. Like, Magneto's not been referenced anywhere. We know that Xavier's in space because of Imperial. Beast hasn't been mentioned. Jean Grey, if she's binary, but binary might be Carol Danvers. And also, there's a weird inconsistency because we see Rogue as the leader of this version of X-Force that's assigned to go kill Storm. But in the Unbreakable X-Men cover that Simone's writing, Gambit is standing over a grave that has Rogue's name on it. So it's like, is that just a mistake? Does Gambit, have they been led to think she's dead? Like, you know, there are questions. Or it just could be, like I said, somebody overlooked the art.
Right, but there are questions, but there are these questions where you're like, I gotta find the answer to this, or the questions where you're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I do appreciate the fact that it sounds like Gail Simone's going to be continuing what she's doing, but just, you know, advanced into the future. Because the Penumbra, that whole deal is in her book. I stopped reading it because I didn't really care for all of these kid characters she introduced. But, yeah, I don't really see the value add of 75% of these books. Like, I feel like they could have put out a handful of them and been fine.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, it sounds like this is designed to eventually sell an omnibus one day. Pay $150 and have a big thick book on your shelf.
It's the original Age of Apocalypse. When you collected them all together, it was like 4 volumes, I think. Like,
I think that's what it comes down to, though, isn't it? Like, the whole... Like, we started off talking about, like, oh, why are they revisiting the Age of Apocalypse? It's all about, like, oh, it's the 30th anniversary of this coming out. Let's go back to that well, because nostalgia is a big thing. Most of our fan base, like, grew up in the 90s reading these comics and have, like, an emotional connection to them. And not only that, but, like, it'll, you know, potentially get people who didn't read them to then go back and buy, like, the collected editions or whatever, so they could spend their money on that as well. Like, if you're looking at it cynically, it's, you know, it's like kind of nostalgia based, and at the same time it's well, I say nostalgia based, but and like celebratory as well, like, you know, like celebrating the anniversary, but at the same time you do feel like this is just sort of a cash grab, really.
So the microphone fell apart.
I think the thing that got me is the fact that Age of Apocalypse Alpha starts in September, and this is the entire month of October. There's like 5 books coming out every week in October. So Age of Apocalypse Alpha is going to just get completely swallowed up by this. So it's like, is this a celebration of Age of Apocalypse in a traditional sense of what a celebration is, if it's just going to be overwhelmed by this new big crossover storyline we're doing? Because one of the covers, Apocalypse is on one of the covers, if I'm not mistaken. So in this 10 years in the future, it seems like he's around. One of the synopses talked about, like, what's he going to think about what Doug's doing? I refuse to use the name Revelation. It's Doug Ramsey forever.
Because of reasons?
Yeah, I'm, you know, as an atheist, I find it offensive that they're trying to force their Christian agenda on me.
You didn't like the character Genesis?
I didn't. I'm not a big fan of Genesis. I'm not a fan of the band Genesis.
No, I hate the band Genesis.
There's a woman that works for my company. Her first name is Genesis. That seems weird. Not a fan of it.
Is
she a mutant?
She might be. But yeah, it just seems like such a weird decision to be like, we're gonna put out Age of Apocalypse Alpha, and then a month later we're just gonna whitewash it with Age of Revelation stuff. I mean, even just the naming convention of Age of Revelation, it just swallows it up entirely.
Yeah.
Seems like strange. Poor planning.
Well, I don't know, man. I feel like it's exactly what they planned, because they did want... I think in their heads they were trying to play off the Age of Apocalypse thing. And then just thought, oh, you know, people will just buy it all together as one big new. September, Age of Apocalypse. October, Age of Revelations. November, Age of Apples. December, no, it should have been Age of Long Halloweens.
Age of Long Halloweens. Age of Hush 2.
Yeah, that's December. Except you know. I think they did plan it like that and just thought people will buy Age of Apocalypse shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe it's just a timing thing though with Jeff Loeb like coming
What's his
back to Marvel
availability?
because I assume yeah like maybe they would have liked to have got the Age of Apocalypse one out like earlier in the year, put a bit of a gap between them. But if he's
Yeah.
been delayed with all this Batman Hush stuff, then maybe
Yeah.
that even had like a knock-on effect on the Marvel side of things as well.
Yeah, because Long Halloween, Last Halloween, I think is still going on because I think it's like a 10-ish issue series. So it was started earlier in the year with a couple of issues out already before Hush 2 started about a month or so ago. About 2-3 months ago, Hush 2 started. So yeah, you're right. It just could have been availability, but just rotten timing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Maybe.
and I think the X-Men just need a long break from this kind of stuff because even before this, when they had their like the downfall of Krakoa, the main books got like canceled and they brought back Uncanny Avengers and they made the Uncanny Spider-Man series where Nightcrawler was in a Spider-Man costume, and they did a Dark X-Men book where Madeline Pryor and like a partially zombified Havoc were the main characters. And it's like they just like let's just have about 2-3 years, maybe longer, of just putting out the book and not do any of
Mm-hmm.
this overlap stuff or reset, the universe stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I say that as a DC fan who the continuity's been reset 3-4 times since I've been alive. So, yeah. Well, any more thoughts on either Age of Apocalypse Alpha or Age of Revelation?
Not really.
No,
I'm not that psyched about it, to be honest.
no.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. So, John, what is your movie count at for the year?
I am on 639.
That's a good number. What was
Not
the last
bad.
one that you watched?
It's fucking dreadful. It was called The Ritual Killer, and the poster made it look like Morgan Freeman was one of the main characters.
Barely in it.
And yeah, it was basically like a director streaming type thing.
Mm.
And there was an actor called Cole Hauser who was the main character, who I've apparently seen in 13 other movies, but I do not recognize him at all.
So, okay, so John, where can they find you at the link in the description of this video or description on Spotify?
If they go to Letterboxd and search for at Big John Bowski, all one word.
Also, in the description of the episode in iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We're like a million. I think we're at like 30, 40 places. So if there's a place to listen to podcasts, you're going to see the link to John's letterbox in the description. So, Dylan, what are you up to these days?
Okay, so what I do sometimes is a radio show I do Monday nights at 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock UK time on Bounce Digital Radio. So if you go to bounce.digitalradio.co.uk at 9 o'clock UK time, you'll be able to hear my show. It's really fun. We play a lot of Pearl Jam and some other bands as well. And then sometimes I do some streaming in between that at Spookular Room on Twitch, where I've been doing a lot of art stuff. I actually streamed me making the thumbnails for some of the videos recently. And by recently, I guess I mean 2 weeks ago, but maybe I did do that recently again. I don't know. It's hard to tell with my, you know, brain problems. A lot
That's
of
fair.
problems. But It's a lot of animating and drawing and stuff, so it's a good time.
Well, like I said, we'll have the links in the description for that as well. Also, I have my show, Large Old Cup. It's stream of consciousness, storytelling kind of deal. So you can find that at pretty much everywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Until next time, though, we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. So goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.